Hello and welcome to Elevated Planet. My name is Jolie Gabrielle, and this is John Drew, the captain of our Elevated Planet ship. And today we will be talking about a few things that John is going to give us some background on.
Thank you, Jolie. Hello, everybody. And hello to Janet as well. We see we've already got Janet reaching out saying hello, everyone. Great to have
Hi,
you with us, Janet. Delighted you could be in the audience today, and keep your comments coming. So today, as I said in the previous one, I think what we're really looking to do now is build continuity of the message that we're putting out there over Elevated Planet. It's been good. In recent weeks, we've had Anita Moorjani with her near-death experience and the amazing recovery that she made. Then we had Dr. Bruce Lipton explaining how miracles like that actually can happen and why they happen. And it's all about cellular biology and the energy that you are feeding them, positive energy versus negative energy, as Dr. Bruce said. So it was following on from that. We then had Gary Wimmer last week on the show with his near-death experience, and it was great to get his perspective on things. So it's really one of the things that Gary mentioned as well, and I've seen this mentioned a lot in recent times, and certainly I've mentioned it, and we've mentioned it through the newsletter as well, talking about the Age of Aquarius. And it was one of the things when Jolie and I were having a conversation 2 or 3 days ago, just talking about where we were going to take the show next and looking to do this continuity thing. And this is one of the things I was very keen on, is we need to be able to cover this Age of Aquarius and the fact that it's the Piscean Age that we're leaving and then we're entering. How does that work? What does that even look like? I'm not an astrologer. And there were a few other things as well from a healing perspective and, again, a well-being perspective that we want to continue to focus on. And one of the names that Jolie mentioned was Louise Hay. Now, I'm familiar with Louise Hay because when I used to live over in Orange County in California, just down the road from there, about half an hour or so, you came to Carlsbad, which was the headquarters of Hay House Publishing, which was the business that Louise established when she was 60 years old. And it is an amazing business. The books that they publish, the content that they put out is truly enlightening, and Louise was a very special person. But I was less familiar with Louise because I'd never read any of her books. I'd never really looked that closely at it. So then we had a little look at a video, and the one just flashed up straight away, which was the perfect one, as you will see. But before we do that, I want to hand this back to Jolie for a little while here, because I know that she's been a big influence on your life, Jolie, correct?
Absolutely. Louise Hay is part of the reason why I do what I do as an energy healer and to really help people take their power back. Because with great gratitude and humility for this life that I've been blessed to lead, there was a point in time where my perspective was really upside down. And although I was very blessed and I had all these wonderful experiences, I couldn't get it together emotionally and mentally. So this would cause me to self-sabotage myself. And so I had these wonderful experiences happening to me, but I couldn't be present in them. I failed to be able to enjoy them. And I felt like I was always on the fringe. Everybody else understood how to live life. But for me, it was like, I didn't like any of it. Like what people saw as fun and exciting and what I thought, we should be doing in our 20s and 30s, I was out of the loop. I could not, drinking, partying, doing all these, it wasn't me. I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't connect. I didn't know how to date. I had jobs I couldn't fulfill what was going on. I just had reached a point where, you could be gifted and bright and then you hit a wall because it takes work. You can do so much with your blessings, but after a while, you got to get down and dirty and you got to sit down and do the work. And so sometimes when we get there, we don't have those skills, those life skills. So I got to an age where I was in my 30s and I was working for this company that if I told you, you'd be like, oh my God, amazing. But for me, it was not that at all. And I had to change my perspective of the way that I was viewing life. And I knew that my body had begun to break down in this scenario. But in my mind, I knew that it wasn't my body, it was my outlook, it was my perspective, it was my attitude, my behavior, and just all of those things that were intangible. So in searching for some healing, because I was having my own physical issues at the time, I was listening to a radio station in LA called KPFK, and I happened upon a man named Brent Michael Phillips and his Theta Healing. And I went to this trying to get my mind right, Theta Healing, trying to figure out how I can work on myself. So then this led me to meet my business partner in Soul Connect, which was Lori Lamson. And Lori Lamson said, "You are amazing. I love you, but you are effed up. So you need to go get some help." And she recommended I go to this school called Clear Sight in Santa Monica. And that's where I met the Reverend Judy Nelson. And I went to Clear Sight training. And through Clear Sight and Lori Lamson, I found Louise Hay, which was You Can Change Your Life. And from there, she absolutely transformed me. I worked with that book first, and I did all the mirror work, and I worked with affirmations. And of course, I was receiving lots and lots of Theta healing from Lori, and I was receiving lots of healing with Clear Sight, going through the wellness process of detoxing emotionally. And then when I got to Louise Hay, and I was able to see that some of my thoughts were what was causing these physical ailments that I had. And then Judy was teaching me how to properly meditate and bring all my soul architecture together. And then Lori was like banging through my chakras, helping me clean. But Louise Hay was truly pivotal for my own self-work, because she was able to get into the details of if you have vitiligo, right? You feel like you don't belong. And therefore you have these thoughts. So we need to bring it over to here. And just even working just with that specific, just vitiligo really allowed for me to change my perspective and to see that I created this. This was solely a recipe that I got in the center of my head in my own kitchen and created. For what reason? I don't know. Attention, maybe. Like we're going to see in this videotape, Louise Hay says, just like you clean your home, you got to look around and see what needs cleaning. You get in the center of your head, you got to do the same thing. And that takes truth. And that's okay. Like a lot of times we run from what it is that we are, I guess what you could call our challenges, because people have judged and labeled them. You're stupid, you're lazy, you're dumb, you don't know what you're doing, you're bad. All of these things, these labels we began to put on our behaviors, which it's just yin and the yang. It's not good or bad. It's what informs us as to what we need to do to heal or how to become better. Because oftentimes when we go into the challenge and we face it, that's where the gold is at. For instance, I'll give you an example. Me, like, taking off all this makeup and really facing the vitiligo and dealing with it and looking at it and working with it and what is causing this and how do I feel like I don't belong, and then going back on that. I know it sounds exhausting, and really getting rid of those pictures and working on my confidence and working on my connection then allowed me to be okay with the blessing that God has given me. And now it has turned into an advantage instead of a disadvantage. But I had to take off all of that, hiding and that mask, and I had to clean house. And so I really recommend that if you are experiencing depression, anxiety, we need support. And oftentimes we're lonely. We feel broken, so we want to hide. And you come out of the shadows and ask for the support that you need. And if you cannot do that, then you pivot to where you can have these self-help things such as Louise Hay. I can heal. You can heal your life, heal your life from A to Z, and all of the other things she has on Hay House are a great place for you to begin to be able to maybe clean house a little bit before you reach out to ask for help. Because what it allows you to do is to align with yourself, to sit down, to breathe, to do some work to where you can connect with yourself on a deeper level and get okay with the truth of what it is that is ailing you and challenging you in this lifetime. Because last week I asked Gary Wimmer a few questions he spoke about decision and practice, moving from a place of depression and anxiety to decision and practice. But I see there's so much empty space between being able to move out of depression and anxiety and into deciding to do something with your life and having purpose. And this is the gray area where a lot of times we don't get answers to our question. You'll hear people say, well, use your tools. Exactly. But sometimes when you're depressed and you have anxiety, the last thing you want to do is reach for those tools, but it's necessary. So even if you set the timer for 5 minutes to sit down and ground your energy, or 5 minutes to go outside and barefoot on the grass, this little tweak will give you that extra 15 minutes you need to do that job, or it adds, it's a cumulative effect. And although we want that gray area to just come together where the depression and anxiety is buttressed right up against the decision and the practice, we have work to do on our own personal, I guess, quotient of raising our vibration and our energy field. Where does depression and anxiety come from? It comes from the fact that you're taking in all of this judgment and criticism, not only from yourself, but from the environment. And you're allowing yourself to be compared and contrasted up against other people. And then you're making the decision that you don't fit, you don't align. And then from there, you're living your life looking at the other people's outsides. And then what? We leave our bodies and we're no longer present and aware. And then we're making bad choices and decisions that don't serve us. So in today's meditation, we're going to get back to the basics, which is just learning how to align our own soul architecture, call it back, so we can have more love for ourselves and compassion to move us out of depression, so we can utilize these skills of writing. We have the Artist Way with Julia Cameron, which can help us. Tapping, we have the Ortners, which can help us to utilize these tools to elevate our energy. And absolutely, we have Louise Hay. But before we begin the meditation, we're going to see a video that Louise Hay talks about some of these concepts. And she also touches on the Age of Aquarius and how important that is for us to understand these things that are going on in our world. And I use my eyes closed. I keep them closed sometimes because I see better that way. So forgive me. But we just really want to help everyone understand that space between depression and anxiety and decision and practice can be filled with you learning about your soul architecture, utilizing the work of Louise Hay, the affirmations, the grounding, the working with the chakras to move out of that and into something much more productive and expansive, so you can make the choices that align you with your highest good, because that's what this is all about. And back to me. So once I found Louise Hay and I began to have a purpose, because that's what it's all about. We live and we wake up each day with joy when we have a purpose and we know why we're here. And oftentimes we're depressed and anxious because we're doing what we're told. We're not in our bodies and we're not making those, and we fail to make the conscious choices that support our soul and our spirit and to ignite us to learn those lessons we were put here to learn. And so if you are confused and you are like this feeling of helplessness and this constant state of fear, I felt so constantly like I was in a state of electricity, like someone had stuck my finger in an outlet and I was like this all day long, and it was so depressing. so, I mean, to the point where I created disease and illness in my body, and it's just written all over my face. And now I live with that as a lesson to, you know what? You cannot be negative and have a bad attitude and be approaching life with this ungrateful sense of, just anger, frustration, and fear. You're going to get that back. And then smack dab, something's going to keep reminding you of that every single day, whether it be a disease, an illness, a relationship, a job you don't like. This is how these things begin to manifest. We do have control, and we can let go of the learned helplessness and move into our purpose and our, I guess, reason for living. And that's what this is all about. And that's what Louise Hay is here to teach us. And we want to remember, Louise Hay did not step into her greatness until she was 60 years old. So it's really never too late. I mean, if you sit down and really read about Louise Hay and see what she has done and accomplished in life at 60 years old, all based on her changing her perspective, starting to love herself and say good things to herself, I'm sure you're going to want to pick that up as a daily practice. And we're here to teach you how. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And I just want to let you all know that I was able to heal myself, at least some of the physical ailments. With the vitiligo, I resorted to tattooing and a little bit of cosmetic surgery for that. But the fact of the matter is that I can walk around without any makeup on, and I can look people in the eye, and I can love myself. But back in the day, my face was filled, it was just covered with makeup because I just couldn't accept who I was or the life that I had been given. And all gratitude to Lori Lamson, to Judy Nelson, and to Louise Hay, as well as John Drew and Mystic Journey for this wonderful healing and wellness life that I have now been able to adopt. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jolie. You know, it is interesting actually, because I think a lot of people who have gifts the way that you have gifts, your ability to go deep, in this spiritual world and understand this stuff. A lot of people who have these gifts actually have a tough time coming to terms with them. I hear that time and again, and it's great because I know Laurie's a fantastic person, and it's great to know that Laurie and Judy are both with us on this particular journey as well for Elevator Planet. But yeah, it's these life challenges that get thrown down in front of us are there for a reason. It's to be tackled, it's to be overcome, it's to grow, it's to learn. And it's not that it's easy, right? It's a lot of times it's pretty tough. But once you get to grips with it, with people like Louise Hay to back you up, right? And point the direction, it's a beautiful thing. So, okay, well, we're going to go to that video right now.
Tonight, I want to talk about change and transition. And of course, change, that's what we want everybody else to do, isn't it? We don't want to do it, but we want everybody else to change so that our life will be different. And yet, of course, any changes that we're going to do at all have to come from within ourselves. They absolutely must. And change to me means that you change from a feeling of separation and isolation and loneliness and anger and fear and pain, and into a state of peacefulness, wonderful peacefulness, where you can relax and really enjoy life as it comes to you, knowing that everything will be all right. I run into that premise that life is wonderful and that everything is perfect in my world, and I move into my greater good always. And that way it doesn't really matter to me which direction my life takes, because I know it's going to be wonderful, so I can enjoy all sorts of things. Gerald Jampolsky says that love is letting go of fear, and there is either fear or there's love. And if you're not in a love space, if you're not coming from the loving space of the heart, then you're in fear and all those other things like isolation and separation and things like that, and loneliness and anger. They're all part of the fear syndrome. And that's really what we want to change from. We want to move from fear into love. and to make that as more or less a permanent state for us. You know, even the planet itself these days is very much in this period of change and transition. We see it all around us. We're going from an old order into a new order. And some people say it began with the Aquarian Age, and at least the astrologers like to describe it that way. But you know, to me, astrology and numerology and palmistries and all those other various methodologies are just ways of describing life. They explain life in a slightly different way, and people use different language to do this. But the astrologers say that we're moving out of the Piscean Age and into the Aquarian Age now. And you know, in the Piscean Age, we reached outside of us and looked to other people to save us. We looked for other people to do it for us. But in the Aquarian Age, which we're entering now, people are beginning to go within and find that they have the power to save themselves. And this is a wonderful, liberating thing for us. Now, some people get very frightened because it seems to be responsibility. But actually, we're discovering our ability to respond to life, not in a victim way, but in a way that gives us power. In a way that gives us power. We're finding that we're getting a connection to what the AA people call the higher power, and what I call our higher self, so that we can contribute to saving ourselves. And it's a wonderful feeling when you don't really have to be dependent on an outside person, but to know that you have within you tremendous abilities to make positive changes in your life. You see, if we're victims, then we feel isolated, we feel in pain and fear, and we're always looking for someone else to do it for us. But now we're taking, as I said, responsibility for our own lives, and we're beginning to understand how we can contribute to the experiences that we have and how we can change those experiences if we don't really care for them. And of course, you know, from the moment you decide to make a change until you get your demonstration, as we call it, or when you get what you want, we have this transitional period. And that's when we're moving between the old order and the new order. It's a time of releasing old beliefs and old habits, and of learning and practicing and then living the things that we're working on. The new beliefs or the new feelings or the new methods or the new behaviors. And while you're getting those in place so that they are a natural part of your life, you're going to have a lot of vacillating in that period between the old and the new. And you go back and forth between what was and what you would like to be or what you would like to have. And if you decide that you're going to release an old belief and that you're going to create a new one, during that transitional period, you're going to go back and forth. And this is a time when we often get very angry at ourselves, because it's like, well, I know all about the new, why aren't I doing it? I must not be good enough, or I must be a bad person. But that's silly, because anything that we're learning takes time. And you go back and forth until you're really strong in the new belief, until you've gone to the complete shift. You know, you may begin to do an affirmation for something, and you're doing well, and then something happens, and you say, oh, I can't do that, and you go back to your old worry habit again. Well, that's just a period of vacillating. It doesn't mean that you haven't learned anything, and it doesn't mean that you're back where you started. It's just part of that back and forth thing. You're not settled in your new habit yet. And that takes a little time and a little practice and a little patience. And you want to be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. You know, you want to build yourself up instead of beating yourself up. There's a tremendously different image if you just think of it. Do your thoughts build you up, or do they beat you up? When you beat yourself up, you know, that's not being very loving to yourself. Sometimes we don't need to make outward changes so much as to go within and just sort of take what we already do and alter it just a little bit. Somebody was saying to me tonight that they were thinking about a new apartment and they were worrying that there wouldn't be enough money. And I said, well, why don't you start affirming there will be lots of money? And you know, it's just like a tiny little thing, and you almost change 2 words. But it's a small way of changing the way you look at a particular situation. Somebody was asking me, saying that they were in a lot of pain. And, you know, they kept using the word pain so much. And they said, is there another word that I could use? And I thought of the time that I smashed my finger with a window. And I realized that if I really gave into it, I was going to go through a very difficult period. So the minute it happened, I started to do some mental work right away. But then I remembered I was referring to my finger as having a lot of sensation. And it did. It had a lot of sensation. And you know, by insisting upon viewing it in that particular way, to me, I think helped it heal much quicker and helped me handle what could have been an incredibly painful thing. Because I knew that if I could alter my mind, it would be better. If we can just alter the way we think just a little bit. So those of us who want to change, we're moving from an old order to a new order. And lots of things are happening on this planet. I don't think things on the planet are so very different than they used to be, but we seem to be more aware of things. I see things in the paper all the time and I think, oh my goodness, are we really doing that? And then as I continue to read, it seems like we've been doing it for a long time, but it's coming to the surface. We seem to see more negativity. But you know, if you want to clean your own mental house, if you decide to work on yourself and you're going to go inside, you have to look and see what is there. You have to look and see what your beliefs are so you know what to change. You can't clean out the negativity if you don't see it. If you're going to clean your own house, it's the same thing. You have to look around and see where the dirt is. You have to pick things up and dust them and look around and polish them or throw them out or replace them. But you have to see what's there. And if we're going to make a big transitional phase on this planet and really help to heal this planet, we're going to have to look and see what's occurring here. We're going to have to see what's happening and to uncover the negativity. And the things that have been hidden for a long time are going to come to the surface. And I think that part of this transitional phase that we're going through, I think part of the catalyst for this is this crisis called AIDS. You know, I really want to help create a world where it's safe for us to love each other. That's all, just to love each other. A world where we can be loved and accepted exactly as we are. That's what you wanted when you were a little child. When you were little, you wanted to be loved just as you were, even if you were too skinny or too heavy, or if you weren't smart enough, or you weren't like the person across the street, or maybe you were scared, but you still wanted to be loved. And it's the same thing we're all looking for now. Only we're not going to get this love and acceptance from other people unless we can give it to ourselves. When we feel good enough to be loved, then others will love and accept us too. It's really that simple. I think that we come to this planet to learn and to practice unconditional love. And it's not always an easy thing to do, but I think that's what we've come here for. To have unconditional love, first of all, for ourselves, no matter what they said or what they did to us in the past. And also to give that same unconditional love to other people, to just allow them to be who they are, and to get rid of this them and us, because it's not them and us, it's all us. And we need to know that. And if we're going to heal this planet, we have to know it's all us. And there are no groups that are expendable, and there are no groups that are less than. There may be many people who are in so much pain that they're being harmful to other people. But you know, if we can understand that acts of violence come from a person who was a traumatized child. Now, this is not to condone people who do violent things, but to understand that if we want to change them, If you want people to become loving and peaceful, then you have to teach them to come from a loving space of the heart. And you're not going to teach them that if you don't know how to do it yourself. You don't create wars and kill people. You don't beat people. You don't throw people into prisons or torture them or do things like that. You teach them to forgive and to love themselves, so they'll never do those violent things again. Because you realize that people who love themselves cannot hurt themselves, and they cannot hurt another person. And to me, that's the answer to world peace and harmony and all sorts of wonderful things. So to help as many people as possible learn to love who they are, it's very simple. That's my work in this world, is to help people love themselves, to love ourselves so that we can get to this new order of what I see as unconditional love and peace and plenty for everyone. And I know that it's possible if we can just get the nonsense out of the way. I believe that when we leave the planet, the only thing we take with us is our capacity to love. We take our capacity to love with us, and that's all. We don't take our relationships. We don't take our automobiles or our bank accounts or our jobs. We take our capacity to love. And we have many, many opportunities to open our hearts on a much deeper level than we have. To me, love is the answer. I really believe that love is the answer. It's powerful, it helps us, it helps other people. How do you give love to the world? What are you doing to create your own inner harmony? What do you do on a daily basis to make yourself feel good inside? Or do you just sit and bitch about what you don't have? Well, it's one way of handling it, but it doesn't change the situation. You know, you're not going to do it by being mad at yourself or being mad at other people. And you're not going to do it by blaming people. And you're not going to do it by being a victim. So what is it you do? How do you express unconditional love in your life? Even a little bit. Is there a small area of your life where you're willing to give unconditional love? How are you experiencing peace within you and around you? And if you're not doing it now, are you willing to begin? Are you willing to start creating inner harmony and peace? Another question to ask yourself is, do you really want to change? Do you want to change? Or do you want to just sit there and complain about what you don't have? Or do you want to be a person who really has and creates a much more wonderful life than you have now? And if you're willing to change, you can. If you're willing to do the work involved, which means changing the way you're thinking, then you can change your life for the better. People come up to me a lot and say, "Oh, Louise, you've changed my life." Well, I don't change anybody's life. I don't do that. I'm not a healer. I don't heal anybody. I don't change anybody. I don't have that kind of power. Only you can change yourself. And only you can clean out the pain within you. I can't do that for you. I can stand up here all evening and say wonderful things and give lots of good advice, but you're the only thinker in your mind. And you're going to make the decision of what you want to do with the information that you're being given. I have no power over you. You have the power, and you need to know that. We think so often that we are helpless, but we're not helpless because we have our minds. We have our minds. And you shape and mold your life from moment to moment by your thoughts and your beliefs and your attitudes. And you also want to know that you really are important to this world. You might say, "Well, I really don't do anything." But you are. Just the fact that you're alive is important. And your life has meaning. It really does. And you can contribute to the peace and the harmony of this planet just by using your mind. Now, some people get involved politically, and some people march, and some people do Peace Corps, and some people help feed the homeless and do all sorts of things, and that's fine. But you can also contribute to the peace and harmony of the planet just as much by how you use your mind. And remember, every time you think, every time you're thinking, you're connecting with like-minded people. Think of that for a minute.
That is, that's pretty special. And, you know, I'm just listening to that and I made a few notes as I went through. This Piscean Age, and we've got a piece that's going out in the weekly, which is about the difference between the Age of Aquarius versus the Piscean Age, which is where we are exiting. And it really, really aligns with what we see in the world today. And there is going to be a lot of disruption going forward, and it's going to be big changes. But what we're moving into is an era of self-empowerment, right? We're not going to be the victims anymore, because the Piscean Age encourages secrecy, and it encourages the power and the me rather than the we. So what we're going into is something that actually goes more to heart-based consciousness. It gets us out of the head and into the heart, and basically acting in a way that is going to help us all, elevate us all. So, and I think, you know, she said we have tremendous abilities, and we do have tremendous abilities. And I think that's part of the programming and conditioning of life suggests that we're actually relatively small, whereas in reality, we need to rely on other people, but we don't. And this is kind of the Louise Hay thing, right? She's kind of helping us to understand. It's, you know, we would look and say, Louise, you really helped us in life, kind of thing. She said, well, no, you helped yourself. And that's kind of the way she looks at it. But had you not put that information out in the first place and provided the path and the roadmap, then, you know, people will struggle with that. But again, I think this is a lot of continuity here about, again, what Gary was saying. It's about practice, right? What Gary Wimmer was saying, you've got to practice. You've got to, you know, you can't just do a one and done. And the affirmations thing, she talks about the affirmations. I've got a bunch of affirmations all around me here. I've had most of them for 5 years, taking them around the world with me. But it's kind of like, when I look at them now, instead of just a bunch of words I wrote down 5 years ago, I feel I'm reading about me. You know, it feels like me, and it is kind of who I wanted to be. And it kind of got me to where I am now. There's always plenty of room for improvement. But at the end of the day, it does take you to that place of self-love, which I think is really important. You have to understand that we have power, and you have to understand that the first person that you have to learn to love unconditionally is yourself, because until you get to that point, you can't affect the world around you in the way that you really want to. So I love that. And also it's about the power of words. And I know that's something that Laurie Lamson, who you mentioned earlier, Jolie, she talks about that a lot. And I'd be interested to explore that at some point with Laurie as well, because I know we talked about that briefly when we did our interview going back a while, but to get her to explain that to people, because I think this kind of aligns with where, you know, Louise Hay comes from as well. Just simply altering the way we think about things, and the old order switching to the new order. And it's all the stuff coming to the surface. And this is where I'm going to shut up at this point, because it is the fact that it's been an era of secrecy. We will be shocked at some of the things to be uncovered over these next few years. Shocked. It will change the way we look at life, but it will change it for the better, because that's when we do realize we have all this power. But this is the age of enlightenment. It's coming to the surface. It's got to be flushed out. We've got to see it for what it is, so then we can move forward. And it's not a case of fighting the old. It's a case of building the new. Elevated planet, right? That's what we're all about. Anyway, that's my little diatribe for the moment. So Jolie, over to you. What do you think?
All right. I think it's fantastic. It's a great perspective to look at things from. I absolutely agree with, you know, this whole thing that Louise Hay talks about, because I was able to live it. I know I didn't go into what my issues were, but, you know, I was told I wasn't able to have children. Now I have 2, but this was because I did the work that was necessary. And it wasn't it was definitely thanks to being given a path. And hopefully I can help people fill that space between depression and anxiety and decision and practice. Because what that is just you taking ownership, like Louise Hay said, taking not really responsibility, but changing the way that you respond, your ability to respond, really empowering yourself to say, you know what, I don't think I want to think like that about myself anymore. But what do you want to put in its place? Because nature abhors a vacuum, right? So when we talk about, like, let's unpack this. Louise Hay says you have to clean out the dirt in your mind and your beliefs and stuff. But where do they go, right? If I'm moving out this negative belief, where am I moving it to? If I'm bringing in this new one, where is it going? So when we meditate and we do creative visualizations, we can take these concepts and we can turn them into something tangible within the intangible realm, meaning we use semiotics, symbols, we see things. There's certain markers throughout the world that mean things, like when we talk about roses, those are the universal symbol for transmuting negative energy into positive energy. That's why we work with them, right? Gold light, what does that look like? That's new positive energy coming in, empowering you to use that maybe in a new way and help you moving out some of those negative thoughts that are in your brain. So as we begin to meditate, you'll hear me use some of these words, which are sort of helping you to remember who you are, and for your higher self and your soul architecture to snap in, lock in, tap in, so that you can align and hear those messages a lot better. So in today's meditation, like I told you, I'm going to take it all the way back to the basics, because Louise Hay talked about practice. We heard Mr. Wimmer talk about practice, but how do we do that? So there is a specific practice, and it's called running energy, which allows for you to bring your soul architecture back into position to where you can then feel safe being in your body, and you can make those decisions from a place of the present moment, right? Which is only place we have power. We don't have power in the past, that's over. And we really don't have power over the future, and any power we do comes from the present moment. So it's really important that we bring and call all our energy back, and that we sit within our bodies and be present as we move throughout our day. So as always, I would like for you to please just begin to breathe with the rhythm of your body as you bring your awareness into your heart. And we're going to begin the meditation. And so for those of you who are sitting down, please put your feet, make sure they're flat on the floor. Your palms are face up on your thighs. We'd really like it if you could utilize your bare feet, but if not, socks are good. Shoes, if you're advanced in meditation, feel free, but for beginners, please take your shoes off. And like I said in the past, if you are laying down, please keep your feet flat on the floor for the beginning part of this meditation. As I asked you to please bring your awareness again to your heart, take a deep breath in, command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath, bringing your body into stasis and balance so that you can feel safe and be present as we go through this meditation. From this heart-centered space, and as you are breathing with the rhythm of your body, please close your eyes if you haven't, and visualize, create, and imagine a beautiful portal or grounding cord connect to your heart chakra, 6 inches in diameter. And as it moves through your body gently, no pain, it's just energy. See this grounding cord being created, and make it of a natural earth element. It could be a tree trunk, a tunnel of light, a beam of light, a tunnel of water. It could be a cave, a quartz crystal, whatever you want it to be. See it begin to create itself from that heart chakra as it moves down throughout your body, the same path as the spine. And as it goes down through the chair, through the floor, and it maintains its shape as it moves down through the concrete, dirt, and into the crust of Mother Earth. And you take your time as you see the shale, bones, the oil, and you're going through the lithosphere, and you start to pick up speed as you hit that Marianas Trench, your grounding cord. No matter where you are, you're going to go down through this Marianas Trench. And as you see the convection, the subduction of the plates, you see the stalagmites, stalactites, the fish that are 10,000 leagues deep under the sea, as you pierce the bottom of the ocean, and you're moving through the Earth's asthenosphere, and you go all the way down and you move at the speed of light as you root yourself into the core of Mother Earth. Your roots, they have those little hairs on them. Take your time as you root yourself into the core and the nurturing energy of Mother Earth. Give gratitude. Say thank you. And take a moment, receive her nurturing energy, her love, as she brings you into this present moment and the reality of your situation. But she's also giving you solutions, directions, information that you need to nurture yourself, to love yourself, and to find these solutions to your problems. Okay, so take a look at the grounding cord from the heart, 6 inches in diameter, all the way down and rooted into the core of Mother Earth and her loving, nurturing energy. So now bring your awareness back into the center of your chest and create, visualize, and imagine golden, rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles blanketing the inside and the outside of your grounding from the top all the way to the very bottom of the last root. Take your time as you see these scrubbing bubbles, golden rose-shaped, blanketing the inside and the outside of your grounding cord all the way down to the roots, cleaning off anyone else's energy, any disease, any illness, anything you're ready to let go of and release, any ancestral vibrations and genetic coding that just does not serve. We're moving that out. That's what these golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles are doing. They're bringing your grounding cord into the present moment, removing and resolving any disease, any illness, any ancestral perspective, genetic code that no longer serves, any past experiences that we're hanging on to that are getting in the way of our optimal emotional, spiritual, physical, mental health. Just washing this energy as we simultaneously put a golden sun above our head, above our crown right now. And inside of that, we put in there unconditional love, connection, positive vibrations. See, all of those words populate that golden sun. And that energy is just pouring into that golden sun. As you begin to open your crown chakra like you would the lens of a camera, and you're going to bring that golden sun down, allowing it to fill up the cranium and all of those synapses and neurons and folds and the brain as it comes down and it focuses itself down that vertebrae and that neck and that throat chakra, cleaning out any residual energy that no longer serves, as it then begins to come down and fill up that heart chakra and cascade down that grounding cord as those golden Rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles fall away into the core of Mother Earth and turn into positive, creative life force energy for anyone to use as that gold light cascades down, that golden sun that was filled with unconditional love, empowerment, whatever you put in there, as it cascades down that grounding cord through the lithosphere, all the way down to the asthenosphere, into the roots, bringing you into the present moment, and any excess going into Mother Earth, bringing you right now into your body with this beautiful grounding cord that is clean and clear and filled with gold light, connected to your heart chakra, 6 inches in diameter. Breathe in, exhale. Pull your aura in to be 1.5 feet around you, 18 inches above and below you, to the right and to the left of you, and to the front and to the back of you. You want to call your higher self above you and snap your astral body in, feet and feet, knees and knees, hips and hips, shoulders and shoulders, hands and hands, elbows and elbows, head and head, fitting inside of you like a hand fits inside of a glove. And now we're going to open this crown chakra like we would the lens of a camera, along with our hands and our feet chakras. And we're going to bring in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you. In fact, I'm going to lead and guide us to bring in green for healing and unconditional love for Mother Earth. Let this beautiful, sparkling emerald green energy of nurturing, loving vibrations from Mother Earth pool in your feet as those side channels of your legs open and light up, ready to receive that 15% earth energy as it begins to travel up the side channels of your legs, moving past the ankles, the shins. Ooh, and when it gets to the joints and the ankles and the knees, it kind of just moves around a bit, opening up those channels, those joints, allowing for that energy to flow through as it moves up the femur, the thigh, as it moves up, up, up. And then when it gets to the hip, it does a U-turn. Some of it goes down the grounding cord and the rest of it goes down in the feet, and it starts to fill you up like water fills up a cup. And then we bring our awareness to our crown chakra and command 85% cosmic gold life force energy to cascade down into the crown, filling up the brain, the cranium, the folds, the neurons, the synapses, giving us new perspective, moving out the cobwebs, the negative energy, the bad perspectives, the perspectives that don't serve. Then it focuses itself down our spine and our vertebrae, lighting each vertebrae up as it moves down into that energy in the heart chakra, moving out any disease, any illness, opening up the channels, opening up those arteries, the aorta, pumping, moving down that grounding cord, down, down, down with that earth energy, and then mixing in, filling you up like water fills up a cup, that 15% earth energy, mirroring itself with that 85% cosmic gold. That beautiful green now has all of these gold and green in there. This gold has these green specks, more gold, more love, more spiritual energy coming down, filling you up as this beautiful essence begins to move past your knees, coming up your thighs, mixing in your hips, the stomach, the reproductive organs. What color is this energy? More gold. Have all of that move throughout the stomach, letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Moving up, up, up into the sternum, the solar plexus, the heart, bifurcating, separating, coming down into the hands, moving up the arms, coming up, up, up into the cranium and beginning to sprout out your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layers one by one. Your aura layers are all intertwined with each other. So see that energy just start to fill it up and push it out, moving out any negative energy, any pictures from the past, any programs, any patterns, anything you're ready to let go of and release. And all of this energy has its focus and its concentration in the heart chakra. In the heart chakra, as that grounding cord, which is connected from the heart down, down, down into Mother Earth. And that beautiful golden life force energy is cascading down into the crown as that mixture begins to sprout out. Work it out. As that gold life force energy comes in, how is that mixture sprouting out? It sprouts out of the sides for me as that golden 85% comes down into the middle, fills up my head, moves down that spine, really swishes around in that heart, and then moves out and down into my feet, some of it down the grounding cord as it just fills me up, moving out any disease, any illness, anything that no longer serves me, anything I'm ready to let go of and release. Just let it do its thing. And I'm going to gently remind you that you are sitting in your heart chakra, and your heartbeat and your breath are synced up. Breathe with the rhythm of your body. You are safe. You are rooted and grounded from a place of love into Mother Earth with a grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, connected at the heart chakra, clean, cleared, filled with gold light. Your aura is 1.5 feet around you, filled with the beautiful golden light and green flecks of unconditional love and forgiveness. Your higher self sits above you. Your astral body is snapped in. And now, from a heart-centered space, I want you to visualize, create, and imagine a beautiful golden staircase taking you to the center of your head. And now bring your awareness from your heart into the center of your head. And now look around. It's quite dirty, isn't it? So what we're going to do is we're going to clean out the center of our head of all these negative thoughts, these limiting beliefs, these self-sabotaging behaviors, these past lives, memories, and experiences that are getting in the way of us living a life of optimal health, financial prosperity, and divine connections. So go ahead, bring yourself into the center of your head, visualize, create, and imagine you sitting in the center of it. Before you clean, take a inventory of what is going on in the center of your head. What is the first thought that comes to you? Open up your brow chakra like you would the lens of a camera. Now we're going to visualize, create, and imagine beautiful roses 5 feet away from us outside our aura, to the right and to the left of us. These are energetic trash bags. This is where these negative thoughts are going to go. And so now, get up from the chair in the center of your head, and there is, right in front of you, your brow chakra is open, and you can see those roses outside your aura. For those of you that say, I can't see, you can feel or hear. One of these utilize, or all 3 of these utilize, as you clean out the negative thoughts and the limiting beliefs, and you put them into the roses that are 5 feet away to the right and to the left of you. So let's clean out some things. Let's get specific, because what we are doing is we're cleaning out the negative to bring in the positive. So I'm going to remind you that you are running 15% earth energy that's coming up the side channels of your legs, 85% cosmic gold life force energy, mixing in, filling you up like water fills up a cup. And this essence is pumping out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra, filling up your aura layer, releasing anything that no longer serves you. You are rooted and grounded from a heart-centered space into Mother Earth with a grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, clean, clear, and filled with gold light. Your higher self is above you. Your astral body is snapped in. And now we're going to go ahead and start cleaning out the beliefs of unworthiness, lack of self-esteem and confidence, lack of intelligence, all of the judgments and the criticisms that sit in the center of our head. Anything, our job, our mother, our father, our siblings, our clothing, our car, our home, our spouse, our partner, our children, our pets, our plants, our cubicle, our typewriter, our computer, our phone, our thoughts about what we look like, our thoughts about our bank account, our arguments, our expectations, our limited beliefs, our negativity about ourselves and others, our judgments about the world, our political leanings, our emotional upsets, our past experiences. Pull them out, put them into the rows outside your aura, and simultaneously, we create, visualize, and imagine a beautiful golden sun above our head. And inside of this golden sun, we're going to fill it up with unconditional love, forgiveness, compassion, as we continue to clean out the center of our head. I understand this may be silly. You may think, what is this doing for me? Tangible energy is made intangible. All of the stress that you are feeling because of your thoughts and your beliefs can be moved out of your head and into that rose outside your aura. Can you see stress? Not really, but you sure can feel it. Get rid of this thought that you are unworthy, that you don't know how to fix your life. Move it out. And in that golden sun above your head, put solutions-oriented, life empowerment, life skills, learned knowledge and wisdom, manifestation, all of the things that you want to create and have in your life. Fill that golden sun up with it above your head. As you're pulling out these negative thoughts and these limited beliefs about yourself, your environment, and what you're capable of, putting them in that rose outside your aura, closing that space between your anxiety and depression and the decision and the practice. What is depression? Depression is anger turned inward. You're sad and you're angry about the things you weren't able to accomplish or have or say or do. This is a new day. Move that out and into that rose outside your aura. Just keep doing it. You can even move to your heart. Clean out the lack of love, the lack of compassion, the lack of forgiveness, the heartbreak, the shame, all of that. What is anxiety? Anxiety is fear, just a cumulative effect of you failing to face your fears. Move it out. Move out the fear of life, the fear of looking for another job, the fear of being honest to your spouse, the fear of maybe leaving and going and doing something you love. Move out all the worry, the doubt, the fear. Move out all the judgments and the criticisms, the disease and the illness into that rose outside your aura as that 15% earth energy and that 85% cosmic gold are filling you up, lubricating you, moving all that negative energy out and down the grounding cord or out into that rose outside your aura. Move out that energy as that golden sun above your head is filled with all of the positive life force energy, all of what you need to solve your problems, to move into that space of unconditional love and forgiveness, to let go of the judgments, the caring about what people think, and to move into your purpose, Clean out the center of your head. Keep cleaning it out as that 15% earth energy and that 85% cosmic gold cleans out all of the toxins emotionally and spiritually that you have allowed to accumulate in your spiritual body over the years. Let it go. Let it go. Clean out, send down the grounding cord into Mother Earth or into that rose outside your aura. Clean out the center of your head of all those negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. Clean it out. This is how you do it as you stay grounded and rooted into Mother Earth. The higher self is above you. Your astral body is snapped in. Your aura is 1.5 feet around you, and your heartbeat is synced up with your breath. And now your soul and your spirit feels comfortable being in your body. Now it is clear about its next steps and its purpose. And now it can sit in the center of the head and be filled with love and life force energy. And the reality of your situation, along with the magic of the divine, can come together and help you solve your problems. Help us connect and come together. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and continue to just clean out all of the past, the genetic coding that no longer serves you, the stress, the anxiety, the depression, the fear, the illness, the disease, as this new, beautiful life force energy fills you up, moving out anything you're ready to let go of and anything that no longer serves you. As this beautiful golden sun above your head just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, just with the love, the unconditional love, the forgiveness, the manifestation, the financial prosperity, all of the things that you need to solve your problems. This golden sun just keeps expanding and getting bigger and bigger and bigger, filling up with all of the unconditional love the universe has for you and for all of its creatures and inhabitants. Take a deep breath and just feel this energy as it pulsates throughout your body. And as you remove anything out of the center of your head, the negative thoughts and the limiting beliefs. And this is how you practice and you start your day, moving out any depression and anxiety. You ground your energy. You call your higher self back above you. You snap that astral body in and you sit in your aura layer in the center of it. And then you call in that earth energy and that divine cosmic life force, allowing for it to clean out that stress, that strife, that doubt, that worry, that fear. This is the basics. And that golden sun above your head can allow you to bring in the things that you want more of. That grounding cord in that rose is the portal to remove the negative energy out of your body, the stress. And so now take a deep breath in and exhale. And we're going to do one last exercise before we wrap up the meditation. And that is, we're going to identify all of the learned helplessness in our bodies. And we're going to pay attention to our thighs, which is where we hold childhood trauma. So as this 15% earth energy and 85% cosmic gold continues to pulsate and run throughout your body, sprouting out your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up that aura layer, moving out any disease and illness, any pictures and past that no longer serve you. I'd like you to command for all of the learned helplessness in your body to turn a bright yellow color. Where do you see it? I see it in my thighs, the back of my arms, across my clavicle, some of it's under my chin, the back of my knees, my heels. And what's going to happen is I'm going to command this energy to come together. The yellow is attracted to the yellow. Right above the grounding cord, it comes into a ball. All of this yellow energy And that 15% earth energy and that 85% cosmic gold acts as a spiritual flush and flushes all that yellow energy down my grounding cord. As I bring that golden sun down now, and I let it fill up all of the spaces and the places where I moved out that learned helplessness, filling it with unconditional love, empowerment, the ability to respond with love and forgiveness. I feel this golden sun fills up all the spaces and the places where I moved out that negative energy, and also replaces those negative thoughts and those limiting beliefs and those self-sabotaging behaviors and those past lives, memories, and experiences that were sitting in the center of my head or your head, and filling it up with a new perspective, a new attitude, a new way of looking at things that are underscored with love and also courage and solutions-oriented perspectives. Take a deep breath and allow for that. Just feel it, see it, hear all of the wonderful energy of that golden sun as it begins to fill up your body, mixing in with that 15% earth energy and that 85% cosmic gold from the divine. And I want you to take a deep breath in, exhale, as I gently remind you that you are breathing with the rhythm of your body. Your heartbeat is synced up with your breath. You are rooted and grounded from a heart-centered space with a grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, clean, clear, filled with gold light, rooted into Mother Earth. As your higher self sits at a comfortable distance above you, your astral body is snapped in and your aura is perfectly 18 inches around you, 1.5 feet in diameter. Those roses are filled 5 feet away from you, to the right and to the left outside your aura, with all the spiritual and emotional detritus that no longer serves you. And you're running that 15% beautiful emerald green earth energy up the side channels of your legs, and that 85% cosmic gold as it mixes in with all the energy of yours that you called back, filling you up, and it's sprouting out your feet, hands, and crown chakra, filling up your aura layers. And you have this beautiful golden aura layer with these beautiful green flecks of unconditional love all around you. I want you to see that you are in a new beginning. A new world has been created for you to step into your purpose and your reason for being here, underscored with unconditional love for yourself and your environment in the highest and best way, with grace and peace. Take a deep breath in, exhale, and those roses outside your aura layer, I want you to give them an energetic push 10 feet away from you, blow them up into fireworks, which is like positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. I want you to stop running earth energy by closing those feet channels like you would the lens of a camera, your hand channels like the lens of a camera. Go ahead and close your crown and stop running energy. As you take that deep breath in and you stay grounded and rooted into Mother Earth from a heart-centered space, you bring your awareness back down. Go ahead and walk yourself back down into your heart if you weren't already there. Resolve and dissolve your golden ladder. Take another deep breath in, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. I'm so very grateful for this opportunity to teach creative visualization and meditation to those who are interested, because this was my path of letting go of the depression and the debilitating anxiety that I suffered from throughout my 20s, my 30s, and part of my 40s. my whole half of my life down the tubes because I didn't know how to think or feel in a way that supported me. And I can say that Louise Hay helped me, along with, of course, Lori Lamson and Judy Nelson. Any of these women, amazing, reach out and receive the blessings that they have to give, because I live a life now, one of joy and of peace that I never thought I would be able to live. And I'm just so grateful to be here.
Mm. Beautiful thing, Jolie. Thank you. That was beautiful and very heartfelt. And, you know, the degree of depression and anxiety out there on the planet is being epidemic proportions. So, you know, it's the way that the Piscean era has been building. And I think that is coming to an end. And this is the new version, the new age of Aquarius, the age of the golden race. All this kind of thing is where we're heading. But to get there, we have to release the old. And this is all about releasing the old. And I thought, wow, that felt so good. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes. And I just, again, you know, to if there's anything to take from the meditation, we'll be going over this, that's the basics, but grounding your energy has got to be one of the most pivotal and important parts of the soul architecture. So if nothing else, just ground your energy.
Yes, it's beautiful. And Janet said, thank you, Jolie. Thank you, John, for today as well. So again, Janet, thank you. Thank you. Because she made the point earlier as well. She was making the point. It's like the word disease. It's dis-ease, not at ease with yourself. It's so important to live life with heart and health. Love yourself and others. So Janet, 100%, you know, and we really value your contribution to what we're doing here. So thank you. And just one final note, really, the weekly is going to go out and it will include the recorded version of this. So it will also have the meditation attached. If you want to listen, then we'll separate out the meditation as well for next week. So we're going to have lots of fun stuff for you. But also, I would encourage you, we've got a piece today on the change from the Piscean era into the Aquarius era, and it really, really makes so much sense. I found this online and it's just a beautifully worded piece, and it's quite simple. It's quite easy to read. And then there's also the part 4 of the new earth that we are building into as well. So there'll be some of that for you to look at. So that will be going out hopefully today. Maybe it'll be a bit late in the day because we've got to do some editing, but it's hopefully going to be in the not too distant future. So thank you. Thank you again, Jolie.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Elevated Planet community. And let's not forget, join our Nos Populi, because that is really going to be a very much so earth-shattering, life-changing community.
It is. It is. And it really brings to the forefront a lot of these secrets that have been held back in this Piscean era, this control of information. You know, I think people's minds will be blown as to how much they do not realize has been going on behind the scenes. So, you know, strap on your cranial retention helmet so that, you know, if your mind blows, you don't make too much of a mess. But it's going to be great one way or another. You know, this is really a great journey. I'm loving the journey. I'm grateful that you're on it with me here, Jolie, and I'm grateful we have our community with us. So
yes.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in a week's time, and we will be back with more information on the newsletter very soon. So take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.